What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over my settings in Fortnite Season 3. This is something I get asked about a decent amount, but I've kind of been putting it off because I wanted to make an updated settings video for Season 3, not like towards the end of Chapter 3, Season 2. So today we're going to be going over my Fortnite settings. I'm going to show you all my settings and explain why I have the game set the way I do. If you guys do find this video helpful or informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and comment down below what your settings are or how your settings differ from mine. So before we get into the settings, we're going to talk about the controller I use because that is a very important part of the settings that I use in Fortnite. I use an aim controller. There will be a link down in the description below where you can check them out, and you can also use code EvolveJake for a discount on these controllers. They make by far the best custom controllers that I have seen so far. And one interesting thing about these controllers, one thing that separates them from every other custom controller company that I've seen, is that they offer a lifetime warranty on the controllers that they modify. So yeah, they're expensive. That's how custom or pro controllers are. They do cost a good amount of money. Like I said, you could use code EvolveJake for a discount, but they offer a lifetime warranty, which is really nice. There's so many other controller companies out there that make similar products for basically the same amount of money that do not offer a warranty. And if you're going to be paying a lot for a controller, being able to get that lifetime warranty is huge. So I'm going to quickly go over some of the things I like about the aim controller. The first thing we're going to talk about is the paddles. If you guys do not know what paddles are, they're basically buttons on the back of the controller, and they allow you to do things without taking your thumbs off the analog stick. And that's huge because if you're trying to jump and shoot somebody and you have to take your thumb off the analog stick, it's going to be harder for you to track that player for sure. If you're trying to like crouch spam and shoot somebody, it's going to be harder for you to track them. If you have to take your thumb off the analog stick for switch mode, if you have to take your thumb off the analog stick for edit, all of those things really hurt you as a controller player. So paddles are the best solution for most players to be able to get access to more buttons without taking their thumbs off the analog sticks. That way they can be aiming while doing all of these other actions. I play claw personally, but I have used these paddles a decent amount, and I feel like the way they are placed on the controller is perfect. Some custom controller companies have vertical paddles, so like you have two right here and then you have two more inward, and that's really awkward to use. I feel like the aim paddles line up perfectly with where your fingers would go when you're holding the controller, and that's really nice. And they are decently clicky. Like, you have to apply a decent amount of pressure to activate them. I've used the Elite controller in the past, and I felt like the paddles were way too sensitive. Like, I was often just hitting them accidentally, and that doesn't seem to happen with the aim controller. I don't know if you guys can hear me clicking the paddles right here, but they are decently clicky, and it is like you actually have to intentionally do it. And I also like the placement of the aim paddles more than I did on the Elite controller. They're pretty similar, but I think the aim paddles are better. And then another thing that's really nice about the aim controllers is the textured grip on the back. I'm sure you guys can see it quite well there, but this feels really good to hold. The Elite controllers as well, which is the other pro controller I've used, the grip came off of mine, and so many other people I know had the same experience with that. And then another nice feature of these controllers is going to be the digital triggers. These are mouse click triggers that activate basically the moment you apply any sort of pressure to it. This is me pressing it down as hard as I can. It activates really quickly, and it doesn't need to go that far. Whereas if you take a traditional Xbox One controller, you have to push in the trigger a decent amount. Like, you can push it all the way in, but it only activates when you get it like halfway. So it gets really awkward to use, and it kind of like slows you down, I feel like, if you are using an Xbox controller. And AIM does offer PlayStation controllers as well. So whether you're an Xbox controller user or a PlayStation controller user, they offer both controllers. And PlayStation controllers actually do have one nice benefit of being able to have digital triggers, digital bumpers, and digital buttons. So your L1, R1, your L2, R2, and your triangle, circle, X square would all be mechanical, like mouse click buttons. I'm actually really interested to try one of their PlayStation 5 controllers at some point because of that. But for whatever reason, the Xbox controllers only have digital triggers, whereas PlayStation could have all digital buttons. And like I said, I'm really interested to try out a PlayStation aim controller. Like I said before, there's a link down in the description. Check them out. Even if you aren't interested in buying one, go to that link and check them out and like shop around for yourself and see what they offer. And if you would like to purchase one, use code EvolveJake. If you do use my code, tweet it at me or send it to me in some sort of social media, and I will follow you back. But now we're going to get into the Fortnite settings. All right, so now to get into our controller settings, I'm going to start with sensitivity because I feel like that's what people are most interested in, and then kind of work my way around. I do not use controller auto run. I use builder pro build immediately. If you don't use the setting and you're playing the build mode, start doing it. I use the lowest edit hold time possible, but it doesn't matter because I have two separate binds for edit and it's not sharing a button with anything. Slide hold time, you want this as low as possible to where you're not accidentally sliding. I don't think these matter. I play no vibration. I would recommend playing no vibration if you're a controller player. Vibration doesn't really benefit you in any way. My build sense is 2.2. My edit sense is 1.6. I use advanced controls. I play 43-43 with no boosts or anything like that. 12 ADS. And then I play linear with look dampening time 0. So this is where things get kind of dicey. I do have a video on exponential versus linear that I've made in the past. But if you copy my sensitivity and you play exponential, it is going to feel drastically different. Like exponential or linear makes a huge difference. In short, there will be a video linked in the description about linear versus exponential. But in short, I think linear is better for shotgun shots, and it's better for building, and it's better for editing. But AR shots and just long to medium range tracking is typically going to be better on exponential. So if you're a zero builds player and all you play is zero builds, you probably want to stick with expo as it's a little bit easier. If you play both, I think linear is better. It can be difficult to use the ARs at long range on linear, but you can get used to it. I play linear and I've gotten used to using ARs at long range. Both my dead zones are actually really low. I play 8-7. With dead zones, I feel like you just want to put the minimum dead zone you can have without getting stick drift on your controller. So just go into creative, set it as low as possible, and see when you move the analog sticks if the character kind of starts moving on their own, and then adjust accordingly. This controller I have, the aim controller, I don't know if they did anything to the sticks, but I'm able to have a much lower dead zone than what I typically have. This controller has like basically no dead zones, which is really nice. I don't use foot controller, and then the other two things don't matter. Now for keybinds, once again, I play claw. So if you don't play claw, your binds are going to be really different. And then also having bind set for build mode versus only zero build would be different. But I use Y edit, I use B switch mode, I use A jump, I use right stick crouch, I use left stick pickaxe. If you do not play claw and you don't have paddles, which check out aim controllers if you don't have paddles, but if you don't play claw and you don't have paddles, you're just a default controller, non-claw, your two analog stick inputs are going to be super important to you. You're probably going to want jump on one and you might want crouch on the other, but you're going to be able to activate both of those while aiming, which is really important, which is what I was talking about earlier when we were talking about paddles. My build controls, I don't know if there's anything too extra here. And then for edit controls, I use right stick reset and LT confirm, which I do have double edit keybinds where we have our own confirm button that I actually use. I think left trigger confirm it's just always felt good to me. And that's one of the reasons why I do not use it down here. Confirm edit on release. I don't think confirm edit on release is very good. I feel like it's easy to get used to having a confirm button. And as far as like the edit binds go, you're not really like stressed to have, like there's not as many options you need to have set up there. I think left trigger confirm works really well. I feel like confirm edit on release is easier to get used to, but it really limits you, especially when making like several edits in a row. Obviously I have turbo building on. I have disable pre-edit option on. I don't like really using pre-edits, and then reset building choice I obviously have on. Auto sort consumables to the right, I have that on, but it doesn't really matter because I do have the preferred item slot set up. Shotgun slot 1, if you're a controller player, you want shotgun slot 1. SMG slot 2, and then AR slot 5. I put utility or like a sniper slot 4, and then our consumables are 3. If we're using double heals, 3 and 4 will both be heals. But if you're a controller player, you want shotgun slot 1 because when you go to take somebody's wall, it resets your items to slot 1. So you could be on slot 5, and then the act of taking somebody's wall, when you finish doing that and then swap, you'll be on slot 1. And if you take somebody's wall or you're in an awkward build fight, you probably want your shotgun out. Super important. Toggle sprint I have on. Auto open doors I have on. Mantle activation I have hold to jump. Hold to swap pickup I have off. I used to like this. I thought it was a good setting, but I've been told it actually like can make it slower when you're picking up weapons because the game doesn't know whether you're tapping to pick it up or holding to swap. And when you're 50-50ing a gun from somebody, that can matter. That's also why I don't have auto pickup weapons on. I used to use this in the past, but I feel like it kind of griefs you when it comes to 50-50ing a weapon. And I think that's it for this page. I think so. The graphic settings don't really matter. I use performance mode with high meshes. I like high meshes because it's easier to see through the walls than with low meshes. But if you play console, this doesn't really apply to you. I don't think you'll have what's it called? Performance mode. And then finally, I'm just going to talk about this briefly. The visualize sound effects setting is really overpowered. I would recommend using this for most people. I do not have it on because I find it really overwhelming and distracting, and I'm already pretty good at using audio to my advantage. Typically, when I play with people who have visuals on and I don't, we typically have about the same awareness in a fight. I feel like it's very rare my teammate calls something or calls like somebody's position that I wasn't already aware of. So I feel like I'm not losing too much by using visuals because I'm already really used to using sound to my advantage. I've played shooters all my life that really have that. But it is a huge advantage, and it's definitely overpowered. It's just a huge buff to your awareness, and if you're someone who isn't as good at using sound to your advantage, or you don't have as good of a headset, this could definitely be a good setting for you to have on. And then another thing is I have dialogue volume all the way to the 0. So if you land at a POI and there's like some sort of challenge to do there, and the NPCs start talking to you, it can be really distracting and really irritating off spawn. So I have dialogue volume set to 0. I don't really care about the storyline or any of that. I just play the game. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Those are my Fortnite settings. I hope you found it helpful or informative. If you did, remember to give it a like. And like I said previously, check out AIM controllers. They will be linked down in the description below. It is by far the best controller I've ever used in my life. So I would highly recommend them to you all. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.